What is going on, guys? I am BlackOpsAmazing. Welcome back to another Zombies Questions, where today, as always, I'm going to be answering a bunch of your questions from the comment section below. So, if there's anything that you want to know to do with the zombie storyline, be sure to leave it in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating, if you feel like it, would be very much appreciated. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest zombies videos on the channel. I try to upload daily if I can. It all just depends on what questions and how many you guys leave. The more interesting, the better. But without further ado, when you're ready, let's do this. So the first question from GetPumped21 says, were Richthofen and Maxis ever friends, or did they always hate each other? Well, to answer this question, you have to look at the different timelines. In the original timeline, I guess you could say they were friends. Richthofen only joined Group 935 because he was acting on behalf of the Illuminati. As we know, in 1925, Richthofen joined the Illuminati, he was working with them, and then years later in 1936, Maxis invited Richthofen to join Group 935, and he only joined because he was secretly acting on behalf of the Illuminati. Not because Maxis and Richthofen were friends, he was working for the Illuminati. But I guess you could say during their time together, because Richthofen was Maxis's assistant, they did build a bond. Richthofen would do a lot of things for Maxis. However, as we know, over time Richthofen was getting frustrated and annoyed. He was getting annoyed because Maxis was becoming distracted. He didn't really focus on his work, he was focusing on Sophia and his daughter, and he was lacking on the projects involved with Group 935. Maxis promised Richthofen that his Wunderwaffe DG2 weapon would get mass produced, but as we know, later down the line, that never came to be. And a lot of things that Maxis did made Richthofen angry. And so even though Richthofen never really hated Maxis, eventually he did become more and more frustrated with him. And in the end, the final straw was when Richthofen went behind Maxis's back, teleported to the moon, touched the MPD device, and when he did that, that turned Richthofen evil. Richthofen, when touched that device, became infected by the Dark Ether, and after that he truly hated Maxis and then went on to attempt to kill him and his daughter. But then in the Dimension 63 timeline, things are a little bit different. In 1898, Richthofen's parents died, so he was on his own. He really had no one. As we know later on in his teenage years, as he grew up in 1906, Richthofen began to study at Heidelberg University, and Dr. Maxis at this university was his tutor. He was his teacher, and having lost his parents, Richthofen came to view Maxis as his father. Maxis saw Richthofen as his son, and then Richthofen saw Maxis as a fatherly figure. Because his parents had died, no one besides from Maxis really took care of Edward, and so Maxis took him under his arms. And then, years later, after gaining this bond with Maxis, Group 935 was formed, and both Richthofen and Maxis joined together. Where for many years in the Group 935 site in France, Maxis and Richthofen were best friends. I mean, like I said, Maxis was pretty much Richthofen's father. And all the way through the Dimension 63 timeline, that's how their relationship stayed. As we know, Richthofen killed Maxis in Origins, but he only did that to save his life. Maxis, at the Origins campsite, became infected with Element 115 and was turning into a zombie. So Richthofen euthanized him, cut open his skull, took out his brain and preserved it to keep Maxis alive. Other than that, he would have turned into a zombie. And as we see in the Revelations intro, when Maxis and Richthofen finally meet each other after all those years, after they are reunited, they hug each other because they've missed each other. So yes, they were really good friends. Maybe not in the original timeline, at least not for very long, but in the premise timeline, Dimension 63, they definitely were. The next question says, I hope I can be featured, but that's besides the point. When World War II comes out, will you be doing the story of the zombies on that? So yes, when World War II Zombies comes out, unless it's really, really bad, you can count on me to cover that game. A lot of people ask me why I didn't do Infinite Warfare Zombies. Simple answer, because I hate it. I honestly can't stand it. The story, I'm really not into, and if there's a game that I'm not interested in at all, I'm honestly just not gonna bother covering it. There's only like a couple of games that I've ever really covered on this channel. That's obviously COD Zombies from Treyarch, so World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, and Black Ops 3. I did GTA 5 because I really enjoyed that game, and apart from that, that's pretty much all I've done. I attempted to do a few Infinite Warfare Zombies videos, especially Spaceland, but I really couldn't get into it, and even now, if I tried to do a storyline video, video. Even though I try, I'm really not interested. But World War II Zombies so far looks good. The story of it so far, everything that we have with the characters, the origins, the evil doctor, and then the science behind that as well, all sounds really interesting. So you can count on me to cover World War II Zombies unless it really starts to get bad, which I doubt it will. So World War II Zombies in a couple of months, you can see that on this channel. The next question from Howard McNamer says, who is the person in the jump scare in Origins in Black Ops 2? So in Black Ops 2, this is the jump scare that you can see on screen now. Who exactly is it? We don't know. However, something interesting that we had in Der Eisendrache was the fact that we saw this jump scare once again. You can see the two side by side now. The jump scare from Origins was in the poster for Der Eisendrache. The only difference really was the fact that the moon was in the right eye instead of the left. Who is this? I don't know. It kind of looks like a skull, but I always say that everything that Treyarch do has a meaning behind it. So this must have some relevance. It's not just something random. It must be someone or something. I was thinking that maybe this is the skull of the Wolf King, as we know, the king that died during the battles. The one that was buried by Arthur. Is this the Wolf King? I'm not sure. I mean, that would also make sense because Origins and Der Eisendrache are linked. Origins is of course the site of the Great Battle and the burial, or not the burial, but the memorial statues of the Primus characters. The Great Battle happened here. This is a place where the Wolf King fought. And then of course Der Eisendrache is the Wolf King's castle, and that's also the place where he was buried. So of course the two maps have a relation, so maybe this is the Wolf King, I'm not sure. Dylan Jenkins says, who made the Liquefied Fire? Now I can't 100% remember if I answered this question before, so I just wanted to quickly go over it again. But the Liquefied Fire isn't a special wonder weapon that's made by anyone by Group 935 or something like that. It is a random weapon that we build in Die Rise. It is made up of a mannequin foot, a gas canister, handbrake, wires and discs, and we craft it on the crafting table. Who is it made by? It's made by the transit crew. HighRise69 says, where did the two other missiles land? And what is the origin of the science Group 935? I think that's the name. I apologize for. Okay. So I'm going to answer the question, where did the two other missiles land? Or at least I'm going to try. So we know that at the end of the moon Easter egg, 3 rockets were sent from the moon to hit the Earth. One of the rockets hit the location of Nuketown. We can see that at the end of the loading screen. But where exactly did the other 2 rockets hit? And we don't exactly know, although they didn't go too far away from each other. I mean, they did, but they didn't. I mean, in Black Ops 2, the 3 maps that we play as with the transit crew are Transit, Die Rise, and Buried. Since we know that one hit Nuketown, the other 2 potentially could have hit Die Rise and Transit. We can see that Transit is clearly destroyed. The floor is cracked open with lava, so one could have hit this location, and then the other could have hit Buried. Again, there is a massive rift, a massive opening in the ground in Buried. So it's possible that the other 2 could have hit these 2 locations, but then again, we don't know, since the whole Earth is pretty much cracked open and destroyed because of these 3. I mean, a lot of people in my previous video were kind of taking the mick that I say BUCH. That's just the, I mean, how do you pronounce it? BUCH? It's spelled BUCH. Yeah. Look, where I come from, my accent, we pronounce book as book. That's just how it is. Cinema says, where did the Gobblegun machine come from? Well, the Gobblegun machine, as we know, comes from Dr. Monty, and he places the Gobblegun machine on our Black Ops 3 Zombies maps to help our characters out. As we know, he has been watching us all this time, and then suddenly in Black Ops 3, because of the mess we caused in Origins, Dr. Monty was forced to intervene, and so he comes into our zombie storyline and starts helping us out. He's been helping us out all this time by giving us the perk machines, the perk drops, the max ammos, the insta-kills, the pack-a-punch machine, but he's also been giving us the Gobblegun machine. The reason why we didn't have a Gobblegun machine in Der Rise, but we have it in the Giant, is because in Der Rise, we didn't need it. Dr. Monty didn't intervene then, so he didn't give us the Gobblegun machines. But then when it comes to Black Ops 3, Dr. Monty has intervened, he knows we need help, and so he gives it to us. So where does it come from? Dr. Monty. He creates them and he gives it to us everywhere we go. Midnight Storm says, hey BlackOpsAmazing, what is Dempsey's rank? I think it might be Corporal, and you're right, he is Corporal, or was Corporal. I've just answered this one, but Edmund Rhodes says, how can the Pack-a-Punch get to all of the maps? Which says after, but I think he means all. Again, Dr. Monty, just like the perk machines and the gobblegum machines, he transfers them, he puts them in every location that our characters go to. Anyway, there we have it. That is it. That's all I have for you for today. Hopefully you have enjoyed the video. If you have, a like rating would be very much appreciated. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest zombies videos on the channel. Let me know your thoughts and leave your comments, any interesting questions that you have that you want to know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.